Alright guys, here we go. Got a Heathkit TT-1 tube tester, and I do have the case and the TT-1A that is going to go with it. Right now I was just working on this. I got this totally recapped from top to bottom. We updated any components that were out of tolerance. Every potentiometer, switch, pot, resistor, variable, whatever it could be cleaned is cleaned. Tube sockets have been cleaned and inspected. I cleaned this whole face off. This thing is in immaculate 10 out of 10 almost condition. I'd give it probably a 9.8 to 10 condition. This piece here, cleaned it all up. I put a coating on it. You'll feel how nice and smooth it is. Just a protective coating, so if something spills on it, you wipe it right off. So what we're going to do is I want to go through and calibrate it, and I thought I'd go through the calibration with you. It's a pretty easy one to calibrate, and then when I'm done, we're going to test. I have this lab grade tested calibration valve here. It's a 6L6. We'll test that in here. See how accurate we are. We should be pretty damn right on. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the bias. We're going to set the bias first. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to put this to center, right? That's dead center right there. It doesn't matter where anything else is. We're in tube. We're going to test our line voltage, and that's going to put our needle straight up. It's like dead on. See, we can move it back and forth, no issues. That's perfect right there. Little tiny. I don't know how it looks for you guys, but that's dead center. So, one tip of advice I'm going to give you for buy one of these, this line set. People take these knobs off to clean them. They don't put the knobs back in the right place. Some of these knobs are the D-shaped knobs, so that they only fit on one way. These are, I believe that most of these are, maybe one or two isn't. And I believe this one is, this one, and this one. I believe there's only like 2 or 3 that aren't D-shaped, that are round, that you can screw up. And you want to make sure when you first get it, right, you want to run this to the end, make sure we're at 50 on meter, 0, right? Same with the bias, 0, 50, make sure that they're on right. This is a spring-loaded switch. You don't have to really worry about it. It's always in normal unless you're doing a current test, and you're going to go over. Line set you can do wrong. Plate is D, D, and D. So there's only, like I said, a few that you could screw up. But you always want to check. Make sure this potentiometer is centered when the pointer's centered, right? So pull it off, turn it to the left, mark it, turn it to the right, mark it, and then put it in the center and put that back on. It's as easy as that. You want to be technical about it, you could do it with a meter, but there's no need to. So let's get ready for the tube test. First, there's a calibrate button that's down underneath here. You got to take this out of the cabinet to test it. Sorry, let me just get I got a sore throat today. Weather change here killing me. So we're going to set this up, okay? Then we're going to test our line is centered, perfect. Now we're going to go make sure all our switches and everything have to be in a certain position. So let's go to the plate. Has to be an A or an A. Filament doesn't matter. Put that anywhere you want, right? The line voltage we already set. This you want in tube test. You want to make sure this is all the way over to tube test. All of these are going to be in 0, so we have to go ahead and put these in 0. Always double check everything. You know, you don't want to go through it and calibrate it and then realize, oh shit, I didn't do it right. You know, so tube test 0. Grid current, normal, but that's the spring-loaded one, so we don't have to worry about that. Now we want to set our bias to 20, which I happen to just left it at, but you want to go to low. So this is your bias, low and high switch. We're going to go to low, 20 low. Meter's going to be full clockwise. Here's your meter, so that's going to go all the way over to 50. It can't go no more. Signal is going to go to 8. And all these toggles here are in the upright position. Okay, so we're good. We're ready to start testing. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down to this calibrate switch that's down over here. Right, you're going to come down. You'll see a calibrate switch. And on that switch, it's going to say bias, signal, meter, and operate. Right now, we're in operate. So we want to go to bias. And we want that meter should jump straight up. All right in the center. And that's dang close to where it is. It actually looks perfect, but I'm going to move it around just so you see where the potentiometer for this is to adjust it. And that potentiometer is what they call the CD potentiometer. I don't know why they just don't call it the bias, but it's right over here. It's the only one. And we'll move it back and forth, make sure, you know, like I said, all these were cleaned and lubed properly. And that's the key word, is properly. Right, so there we are, we're dead on. Now I'm going to go over, I'm going to go back to operate. All right, I'm back to operate with the calibrate switch. I want to do line test just to make sure. Perfect. Now I want to go back to bias just to make sure. All right, so yep, we're good. Bias is set. Now we're going to go on to our next step, and that's going to be doing the signal. All right, you're going to turn your bias max counterclockwise, right? So we want our bias all the way to 0. Counterclockwise. Meter is going to be maxed. We have that. That stays where it is. Signal is going to go to 1. Going to go to 1. Check our line voltage again. We always check our line voltage because we're in operate. We're good. Now we're going to pull down on the GM test, all right, after we go to signal. And there we are. We're in signal. Pull down and we should be centered. Ooh, that's very close, but we're gonna tap that right on. So I got the potentiometers on this side now. There's 2 of them here. There's one here in the back and one in the front. We want the back one, which is the CG potentiometer. We're gonna pull down on our test. We'll give it a little back and forth. And look at that, we're right dead center on, boy. Can't get better than that. So we're good there. Again, we go back to operate, line test, perfect. I'm gonna go back to signal, just test it one last time. Perfect. Now we'll go back to operate. I always leave it in operate, right? So I'm always checking the line voltage. You can't check the line voltage enough. Just got to remember sure you're in operate. Now we're gonna go to meter. We're gonna put our plate to C. So we go from A to C. Calibrate to operate. We're in operate. We're going to check our line voltage again. I know you check it a lot, but that's the key right there, your line voltage. All right. Calibrate to meter. I'm going to go over to meter. Down here. Calibrate down to meter. Now when I pull back this GM, I'm going to be looking for right here 1100. All right. It's going to be the larger scale to the right. One to the right of that, not the little one in between, the larger. So we're going to pull down our GM. We should be at 1100, and we're close, actually dead on, but I'm going to move it around. So that's the front potentiometer on this side that I mentioned. That's the other one, and that's CF. And we're going to pull that down. We'll give it a little movement, make sure we're working good. And we are dead on right there, right? Again, what do we do? Operate, line test, perfect, back, meter test, and we're perfect. So now, guys, the key, remember this. Go back to that calibrate, put that to operate before you put this back in the case, or you got to take it out again. Nothing will work right. So we're back to operate. So now we're going to test this tube, like I said. So this is a 4922 ohm, but this is going to be times 3, 6L6. I don't know if you could see that there. So I'm going to run you through. I'm not going to put how I do this before I like, in the calibrate you could do it, right? But I don't like to put the tube in until I get everything set. Then the tube goes in. Some people even turn it off when they're going to do it. I don't. But we're going to go to 606. We got the chart. We're going to go to F. Right there for plate is on F. We're going to go bias 35 high. So we're going to set our bias to 35. And we're going to go to high. Right, it's our switch there. 6.3 on the filament. We're on 6.3. 44 on the meter. 44 on the meter. And then we're going to go to signal 4. Signal 4. Now we got to set all this, all right? So we're going to have 0, 7, 3, 4, 5. 0, 7, 3, 4, 5. 0, 7, 3, 4, 5. 0, 6, 1, 0. This is 0, 6, 1, 0. 0, 6, 1, 0. You're going to see these extra 3, 0, 0, 0. They are for the unit that comes with this, the accessory, the TT-1A, which is going to come with it. It's in the box over there. It has a cable that you'll hook from this to the unit. And then you can, if it shows those 3, then you know that you have to use that TT-1A. But for right now, we don't. So we're all set up. Okay, everything's good. I'm going to take our tube. We're going to put it in. And unfortunately, we do got to let this warm up. You don't want to go hitting your screen right away. Now, when you first put a tube in, you may do your line test and see that it moved off a little. That's because right now your voltage is high. It's using a lot of voltage, but your amperage is low. Pretty much 0 when you first start, milliamps. This tube, I think, draws 40 milliamps, the 6L6, if I remember. I go through a lot of these for stuff, but so your milliamps will be 0, your voltage will be high, and your voltage will slowly start coming down, and you'll see your milliamps coming out. Once it levels off, if this had a voltage and milliamp meter, and you can put them on this, there is a modification to put them on there where you can actually make an adapter that'll go into this, because who uses this? I mean, line out, you're not going to plug stuff in here to go out, so you can make it so that you can put a probe or adapter in here and go right into your multimeter with it for your voltage. That'll be AC voltage. All right, and just give this a little chance to warm up. It's starting to get warm. I can feel it. So again, if you don't feel this getting warm, you know you got a filament issue. All right, because that's your heater. Want to make sure that gets warm. It's pretty warm. So you'll notice on here what I did is I took this, where are we? This 4922, and I divided it by 3, because on here you're going to see that your reading is times 3. So whatever you get on this, you're going to times it by 3 for your actual reading. That's what that X3 means in remarks. When you look at that, I'll see PE times 3. All right. So we should get 1640 when I'm divided by 3. So 1640, this is going to be your 15. 1640 is going to be that third mark over from center. So let's go ahead and give it a test and see where we end up. Look at that, man. That's close, you know. And this ain't warmed up all the way. That'll come up a bit. So there you go, guys. I mean, this thing is set, ready to go. I'll take a bunch of pictures of the underside, the inside, everything for you. This way we know what you're looking for. And, you know, let me give you just one more. I'm going to turn this off. Let me give you one more. If you guys are buying this and you're going to redo it yourself, right? Man, this thing is so clean. I saw a hair on it. If you're going to buy one of these and go through it yourself, one of the things I noticed with test equipment, if you get a piece of test equipment, there's 3 reasons that you got to start it up carefully. All right. Reason 1, it's clean. this is a clean piece because the guy never used it. That's going to be reason number one, right? That's your, hopefully, what it's all about. Reason two, someone that built it, because this was a kit, built it and they didn't know what they were doing and never got it to work right, and it just sat. So that's like kind of your worst case scenario. And then reason three is they do have capacitors in here that go bad. And this is one of them that got replaced, all right? These are known to go bad. They will swell up. This one actually tested good. I'm going to send it with the unit along with all the old capacitors. Some people, when they do restorations, maybe they want to restore this. They want to take these out of here and put the new caps in them, and whatever they want to do, they can do. Okay, so I'm going to include all the old parts that are going to come with it that I took out. And always want to take it out and look at it first. Let me pull the plug. So you do have on here 2 vacuum tubes. These are new tubes, by the way. You want to make sure that the tubes are in and they look good, right? Or test them if you can. I always test the tubes. I always see people work on equipment and they start without testing the damn tubes. I mean, you got a tube tester, pull them out and test it, because that could be your problem, is a bad tube, a shorted tube. It can cause a lot of issues. You don't want to start with a shorted tube. And one of the things I didn't show you that I should have, only because I knew the tube was good, when you first put the tube in, before you're going to do your tests, you come over to this leakage and you're going to go through it with the tube in, nothing pressed. And if you see this needle move, it might bump a little, only because it's going from different voltages. But if you see it move, you got to short, okay? Don't do anything. Take that tube out. It's no good. Don't even try to go further. You'll ruin your tube tester. Short test, short test, short test first. I should have did it for you guys to see it, but I know this tube's good. I used it 10 seconds ago, if not even a little more, on another tester that I did. Another tube tester. My own. I just calibrated. Same one. It's not as nice shape as this, actually, but I use it a lot, and I don't want to ruin this. I'd rather let someone else have it. So, and another hint that I'm going to give you is this roller. Print out the guide, right? The tube guide. Use a tube guide. It's. You don't want to be scrolling this. This paper's old in here. Probably last if you're not hazardous with it. Only use this tube testers when it's laid down. If you stand this up, the roller doesn't work right, and if you try to force it, you're going to break it, because it's on these little spring-activated arms. Well, the springs get a little tired. They'll rest on a plate that's there, and it'll hit, and you don't want to damage it. I've seen that like that before. So just be careful, all right? So you can see this is where the this large metal can came into place. Kind of set down in there like this. And we replace that with some good IC. All components I use are very good components. I don't use any cheap stuff, okay? Diodes were all replaced in it. No reason to keep those old diodes. They get weak. And the newer diodes are much, much better. And you'll see, that, I mean, this thing's really clean. I'm going to lay it down here. All right. The only cap we didn't replace was this cap, because when I tested it, it tests better than the new cap that I have. And to be honest with you, I've never seen one of these go for some reason, so I leave them in if I can. I've never had a problem with them. All the resistors were checked, all the pots were cleaned, brand new light bulbs were put in. So, I mean, this thing is ready to go. You should get another 20 years out of it. Checked all your voltages on here. All your voltages are good. I mean, I really went through this thing really well. So here you go, guys. This is going to be it. And this will be my next unit going up for sale. If anyone's interested again, I usually leave it on my YouTube page for a day, 24 hours, before I'll put it up for sale. So if anyone that views it is interested, you contact me directly. And that's at kb2lmn@gmail.com. or you can message me right on the YouTube video. And people that do subscribe and like my videos get the first pick of stuff that I sell. I sell a lot of stuff off of there without listing it. So you guys on the channel that watch and give me a little thumbs up and subscribe, I really appreciate it. It's been a tough couple of years actually for me. I got some medical pain issues that I'm dealing with, and it's very hard for me to lift and move things. Today I'm actually having a really good, one of the best days I had in a long time. So I guess Columbus Day is paying off for me. But guys, listen, I don't want to hold you too long. It's already a long video. I have some booklets for it too that are going to come with it. And I'll make sure to take pictures of them when I take the pictures. So guys, God bless you all. 73s, stay safe, and bye.